NTD China News, I'm Karen Chang. Making headlines this Monday, March 25th. China's hope to strengthen military ties with Russia. Another nuclear plant for Pakistan, and a Chinese state-run firm is reportedly building it. And how China's demand for resources is hurting African wildlife and economy. In what many considered a purposeful slight, Chinese leader Xi Jinping's first international tour excluded the US. Instead, Russia was the first stop, followed by key nations in Africa. While in Russia, Xi Jinping signed several energy deals and made a push for closer military ties with Russia.
It seems China is making its own plans to counter a U.S. security pivot to the Asia-Pacific region. On Sunday, the Chinese and Russian defense ministers met to discuss bilateral military exchanges. It follows reports of plans between the U.S. and Japan for a joint military strike if China invades the disputed territory of the Diaoyu or Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea. Russia was the first stop on Chinese leader Xi Jinping's first international tour. During his visit, the two sides reached a series of agreements on military ties, according to Chang Wenchun, China's defense minister. They also signed a series of deals for Russia to provide more oil to China. The two countries have historically often found themselves at odds, but in recent years, both sides have voted along similar lines in regards to thorny international issues such as Syria and Iran. Fears are rising that the U.S. pivot to Asia is resulting in the development of an anti-American geopolitical bloc in the region.
Adding to the concern of a growing anti-American bloc in Asia is China's nuclear cooperation with Pakistan. Last Thursday, the Washington Free Beacon reported that the two countries have entered into a secret nuclear agreement. A tacit admission came today when Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hong Lei said the cooperative nuclear program between China and Pakistan is for peaceful purposes. He also denied claims that the deal violates international anti-nuclear treaties. Quoting U.S. officials, the Washington Free Beacon said the new deal was struck following a visit by Pakistani delegates to China in February. The Chinese regime had helped Pakistan build 2 nuclear reactors already. Under the new agreement, China's state-run China National Nuclear Corp will build another 1,000-megawatt power plant in northern Pakistan. The Chinese company is the Chinese regime's main nuclear weapons producer. U.S. intelligence had linked it to Pakistan's nuclear arms program. Xi Jinping is in Africa this week, and it's a symbolic visit for the newly named president. China has invested heavily in Africa's resources. It has also faced scrutiny over whether its investment is good for Africa in the long run. 2 of Africa's most iconic species, the elephant and the rhino, are facing grave population declines, and it's mostly due to demand from China. The Chinese market has fueled a poaching crisis on the continent, and Chinese-built roads are also threatening the animals' habitat and bringing poachers closer to the preserves. Then there is the impact on Africa's economy. Both rhinos and elephants are essential to tourist-reliant economies. According to South Africa's tourism department, 1 in 12 jobs was in the tourism industry last year. Dwindling rhino and elephant numbers will also hurt the tourism industry too. Campaigns bringing awareness to the poaching issue have been started all over Asia and Africa. Many target Chinese tourists and consumers who are fueling the trade. To see more on China's impact on Africa, visit our website at ntd.tv. Hong Kong's Court of Final Appeal appears to have scuttled the hopes of domestic helpers working in the city of eventually becoming permanent residents, with a ruling delivered earlier today. Here's more.
Hong Kong's highest court on Monday ruled against granting residency to 2 Filipino maids. That's a blow to the chances of several 100,000 of other domestic helpers getting permanent residency. The 2 had been living in Hong Kong for more than 7 years. Normally, foreigners qualify to become permanent residents under the Constitution after this time. All 5 judges at the Court of Final Appeal ruled that the 2 are not allowed to settle permanently in Hong Kong. Migrant workers say the ruling is institutionalized discrimination.
Why are our contracts different from other foreigners? We are unhappy because the Hong Kong government treats us unfairly. This is discrimination.
We fear that we will again be excluded. And this is a very sad day for migrant workers. This is a very sad day for justice and for fair treatment for foreign domestic workers.
The court ruling says foreign domestic helpers are obliged to return to their country of origin at the end of their contract. They're told when they start work that they are not in Hong Kong for the purpose of settlement. A lower court had previously ruled the Filipino pair the right to seek permanent residency in the city.
Well, we respect the judgment. We disagree with it, but we'll respect the judgment.
The ruling also bars dependents of the maids from seeking residency in Hong Kong. Many Hong Kong families and expatriates consider a domestic worker essential, often employing a live-in helper who cooks, cleans, and helps with child minding. But the maids are excluded from Hong Kong's minimum wage and other basic services.
And coming up after the break, Free China, the documentary screens at Imperial College, London. David Beckham delights fans in Beijing. And gratitude in Berlin for Shenyun's display of traditional Chinese culture. And welcome back. The founder of solar giant Suntech is being kept from leaving China after its major subsidiary declared bankruptcy last week. Shi Zhenrgong was the president of Suntech Power until earlier this month. He was replaced when its subsidiary Wuxi Suntech failed to pay a $541 million bond payment on March 15th. Shi and one other executive are being barred from leaving China as the company is being investigated. Shi owns 30% of Suntech stock, which at one point made him the richest man in China. His wealth plummeted after Wuxi Suntech declared bankruptcy. She became an Australian citizen after completing grad school in Australia in 1992. NTD's co-produced documentary Free China, The Courage to Believe will be released to theatres on June 4th. The film's producer and one of the main stars are currently in Europe, attending private screenings before the official public release.
A woman who survived persecution in China has been on a journey to tell her story. Jennifer Jung, one of the two characters featured in the documentary Free China, The Courage to Believe. On Thursday, March 21st, she attended a screening of the film at the Imperial College London on invitation from the school's Amnesty International Society.
I meet different viewers each time, and they all tell me that I should tell more people about the truth of what is happening.
NTD co-produced Free China with award-winning director Michael Perlman. It follows the story of Jennifer Jung and American businessman Charles Lee. Both were persecuted in China for their belief in the Falun Gong spiritual practice. The film also exposed the Chinese regime's system of slave prison labor.
I was very, very impressed by the film, in particular the bravery shown by Jennifer and Charles Lee. They went through a huge amount of torture and persecution, but still stood strong for their beliefs. I thought the film was also very powerful in showing the wider persecution of all the believers in Falun Gong that has been taking place in China.
It is the first time I've seen it. An excellent film, really inspiring, really informative. I think it can really make a difference, yeah.
Free China has won several film awards, including the inaugural Free Speech Film Festival Award in the United States last year. The film is slated for a public release on June 4th.
From the feedback I've received, I feel the film has had a great impact. I think with more screenings, especially the theater release and an online campaign that begins on June 4th, the film will be powerful and bring change.
Jennifer and the documentary's executive producer Keon Wong are currently in Europe to promote the film. They will be attending screenings in Belgium, France, and Switzerland. NTD News, London.
David Beckham in his role of global ambassador for youth football in China. The international superstar found hundreds of eager fans waiting for him at Peking University on Sunday.
Former captain of England's football team David Beckham met his fans in Beijing on Sunday. The Paris Saint-Germain player went to the campus of Peking University for an appearance with hundreds of students. While at the university, he tried out a guzheng, a zither-like traditional Chinese musical instrument under the guidance of a professional musician. Beckham delighted many in the crowd by showing off a Chinese handwritten tattoo on his body. Talking to students in a question and answer session, Beckham advised them to show perseverance in whatever they did.
Just live your dreams, work hard, have as much dedication as you can in life.
Beckham is in China as a global ambassador for the youth football program in the country and the Chinese Super League, the country's top-flight league, while his current club PSG are on a break.
On Sunday, New York-based Shenyun Performing Arts finished a run of performances in Berlin, Germany. One audience member expressed his gratitude to the classical Chinese dance company for a rare, high-quality performance.
Shenyun's Sunday afternoon performance completes the Performing Arts Group's three-show run at Berlin's International Congress Center. And the final show most definitely didn't fail to enthuse the audience.
I am here for the third time because I realized that each time one experiences something different. Even if you have a good memory, there's always a new perspective on the images and also on the messages which are transported through the show. And all of a sudden, you see a completely different focus on the show, which you didn't see the first time.
The founder of the international music magazine Orpheus also had a positive take on the performance.
Hervorragende Stimmen, die Sopranistin, hinreißend schön.
Excellent voices. The soprano, just gorgeous. The mezzo, also wonderful. The tenor, very distinctive. And especially the female instrumentalist is a grandiose, very grandiose talent. Also, the accompaniment by the piano was very touching. I would say a successful evening. A performance of this high quality one can rarely see nowadays. Thank you, Shenyun.
Zu sehen bekommt. Danke, Shenyun.
Besides the superb skills of the dancers and musicians, there's a profound spiritual message in the performance and a reference to social problems in modern China.
Was ich mitnehme, ist ein erneutes Nachdenken.
What I take with me today is a new mindset with respect to the situation in China. But what I also take with me from today's show is that nobody has the right to forbid other people to live according to their culture and traditions.
Traditionen zu leben genommen werden darf.
I have the wish in my heart that this great performance conquers the world and the heart of the people, that they can understand what is going on in this world. There's a big transformation going on right now, and we of course have to play our part in that. This is an appeal, an imperative to humankind to wake up and play a positive role for the transformation of this cosmos.
Shenyun will now travel to Switzerland to perform, but will be back in Germany for Easter weekend. Performances run from March 29th to 31st in the Jahrhunderthalle in Frankfurt.
And that's all we have time for this NTD China news. For more of our China-related content, visit our website at ntd.tv or subscribe to our YouTube channel, NTD on China. Coming up next is China Focus. Stay tuned.